Kichipitain Dao de Anishinabeg.
Miao dijiba muin mujimagak ima misqua gaminiwi zage iganing gapi in a kamigak.
The Creator put in the water a spirit. It's a living thing. To us, it's a living thing. This water is alive. We need that water. We depend on that water. And we depend on it even more so today for our younger generation. In the ceremonies, they talk about water as the blood of Mother Earth. It's no different than the blood that runs in our veins. And when we look at our earth, the rivers that run on the surface or under the ground, is that blood. When the Creator put life on this earth, He put in place some principles, laws, and values that all of life were to abide by. And certainly that doesn't exclude us as human beings.
The waters of Red Lake date back to ancient times. It was born from glacial waters, first formed during the Ice Age, and is a part of what we now understand to be the remnants of Lake Agassiz, the largest glacial lake to ever exist in North America. As time passed, the earth warmed and the great waters of Lake Agassiz receded. It left behind rich soil that created prairies and woodlands, which then brought the eagles, bears, and moose, and other precious wildlife. Once the animals came, so did the people. Over time, those lands were populated with many different tribes. As Europeans settled in the east, the Anishinaabe, relatives of the Algonquin people, began their westward migration. Their settled territories stretched far into the Midwest, encompassing lands well beyond the western shores of Lake Superior. During the 1600s, the Ojibwe clashed with the Dakota Sioux tribes over hunting grounds. But it was in 1730 that the Anishinaabe came to Red Lake. They fought a long battle for the land that lasted 25 years. It cost many lives. The fighting finally came to an end at the mouth of Sandy River on the western shores of Red Lake.
Meshkwaka Misaki Ikanek!
The war was over. Many say that the blood from this historic battle changed the color of the water of what is now known as Red Lake. For the next century, the Ojibwe lived in the vast region surrounding Red Lake, trading with trappers and merchants. They continued to fight with the Dakota over this territory until the end of the Civil War. It wasn't until the creation of reservations and the U.S. government treaty era of the mid-1800s that the Gichimukamon started to diminish our land. In the Old Crossing Treaty of 1863, we ceded 11 million acres of prime real estate for $500,000. Then, in 1887, the federal government introduced the Dawes Allotment Act in attempts to further diminish Indian independence and force assimilation. Tribes throughout the United States were pressured to divide their common property by assigning each enrolled member an allotment. Remaining lands were considered surplus acreage and were put up for sale by the U.S. government. Many tribes agreed to allotment in exchange for money, commodities, and education. They did this in the hopes of reducing the level of starvation that had taken the lives of so many Indian people. Many of these tribes were lied to, never receiving the payments that were promised to them. These were difficult times for all Indian nations. The Red Lake chiefs held steadfast to their traditional belief that the lake and its surrounding land should be kept intact. They had seen firsthand the power of the lake to feed the people during many long cold winters. Thus, they held deeply to the understanding that the lake was a Tasawamekamig, a warehouse that could forever feed the people. The Dawes Allotment Act effectively fragmented Indian nations throughout the U.S., diminishing their total land base by 90%. Red Lake was one of only 2 tribes in the United States to refuse allotments.
I'm opposed to having allotments made to us. I don't look with favor on the allotment plan. I say to those who are here, I express my own views. I'll never consent to the allotment plan. I wish to lay out a reservation where we can remain with our bands forever. I mean to stand fast to this decision, whatever the government offers to pay for the land. I shall touch the pen with the understanding that all you have said to be the truth, that you respect that truth and the words of the President. In the meantime, we want you to remember the occasion that has made us stand here, pleading for the future.
At the Treaty of 1889, commonly known as the Council of Seven Meetings, Red Lake tribal chiefs successfully negotiated with the federal government to maintain communal ownership of their land. This renegotiation, however, came at a cost. Whether a misinterpretation or a deliberate act by the federal government, Red Lake's remaining land was reduced from 3.2 million to 825,564 acres, ceding 16% of Upper Red Lake. This was never the intention of Red Lake's leaders. It was fiercely disputed, but was ultimately accepted at the cost of protecting the lake.